Mosaic Theater presents Precarious, a sharp new comedy about motherhood, retirement, and the climate crisis. It's one family and a whole lot of messy. Starring the acclaimed Kim Schrath and Helen Hayes Award winner Zoe Walpole, this is a story about starting out, starting over, and the love that holds it all together. See Precarious June 4th through June 28th at the Atlas Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now at mosaictheater.org.
Hey, DC, Annie here. At the end of today's episode, I've got a sponsored conversation with District Bridges about their 4th annual Juneteenth celebration at Harrison Park, June 18th, 3 to 9 p.m., free for the whole family. Kelsey Adams is going to talk to me about what makes celebrating Juneteenth on Black Broadway so special and what's in store. Brought to you by District Bridges.
Today on CityCast DC, happy June. What are you going to do this month? We have answers. Pride programming, America 250 programming, America 250 counter programming, and lots of barbecue. It's Monday, June 1st. I'm Michael Schaefer. Here's what DC's talking about. I'm here with my CityCast colleagues, Bridget Todd and Kayla Cote-Stemmerman. Hey, Bridget.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kayla.
Hi, Mike.
Before we get started, this June guide is brought to you by District Bridges. After our conversation, senior executive producer Annie Reese is chatting with Kelsey Adams from District Bridges to talk about their 4th annual Juneteenth celebration happening June 18th at Harrison Park on U Street, right in the heart of Black Broadway. All right, you guys, it's June already, halfway through the year.
I know. And there's so much going on this month. It's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, June is about the time where I start to feel overwhelmed, FOMO, all the feelings, because it is packed in DC.
So, Kayla, you just started a newsletter in May where you talk about activities, events, culture, life in Washington. So you must be at the receiving end of a glut of information about stuff to do. What's exciting you right now?
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely going to talk about some of them today, but there is so much going on this month from, like you said, Pride and 250. There's a couple new museums opening. We've got a documentary film festival going on, not to mention just every summer activity that you can think of, pools, beaches, all of that will start happening as well. So there's a lot going on this month. Hopefully we can dive into a little bit of it, but I have no doubt that it's also a bit of a choose your own adventure situation.
So, we've changed CityCast a lot in that we're sort of adding this whole news gathering component to it, breaking out newsletters like Kayla's. But the core of the podcast and the core of the whole business has always been and remains about connecting people to their city, which is one reason we do these guides every month. As you may be able to guess from listening to me, I'm not like the most sophisticated cultural consumer, but the point is that we have a pretty good mix of people here, and we try to share with you what makes us excited and what we've been able to find out about the calendar in the month ahead.
I don't know, Mike. You're pretty sophisticated, I think. Don't count yourself out.
Well, I appreciate that, but I feel like Bridget's silence is speaking volumes. So.
No, well, that's because Bridget knows best always.
No, I agree. I agree with Kayla. You have a sophisticated cultural, a
nuanced palette.
Yeah, you have a nuanced cultural palette. And I feel like you have your finger on the pulse of things happening in the city.
Well, let's talk about things happening in the city. There is a big calendar. It's a sort of a normal, this is time of the year when a lot of festivals and stuff happen. But layered on top of that is America 250. So there's a lot of programming associated with that. There's some counter programming, or at least people trying to ponder getting out of town ahead of that. And it's also Pride. So looking at everything, what are you guys particularly pumped for in June?
Well, one thing that I do absolutely every June is go to Sundress Festival at Wonderland Ballroom. Have either of you ever been to this?
I have not.
Yes, I've only been once.
I have been.
You start from the beginning. I don't even know what it is.
So Sundress Festival is this event that they do every June at Wonderland, where it really is a celebration of summer via sundresses. And so everybody wears a sundress. Absolutely everybody wears a sundress. I cannot stress that enough. This is not one of those events where you're thinking, oh, well, I'm not actually going to wear a sundress. I'll
Do
just
the dudes
go,
wear
it'll be
sundresses
fine.
too?
The dudes absolutely wear sundresses, and some of them wear heels, floppy sun hats. If you do not wear a dress at Sundress Festival, you will feel like a big jerk.
What if you wear
definitely
like
wear a dress.
seersucker or some sundress equivalent?
If it ain't a dress, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
All right. So upon showing up in your sundress, then what do you do?
Because
that only lasts so long, right?
you drink beer
Okay.
and you dance and you eat amazing street food from food trucks and grilled out barbecue. Everything goes to benefit DC Central Kitchen, so it's definitely a fun, wild party in the street, but then you get to feel kind of good because you know that your money is going to benefit DC Central Kitchen. There's a contest of like who looks the best in their sundress. I won it one year. This was several years ago now, but I did.
What?
I am a former winner.
What do you get as a prize?
I think I got a gift certificate and a handful of plastic flowers.
Bridget, what was your sundress the year you won?
It had little slices of pizza on it, so it was a pizza
that's a
themed
winner
sundress.
for sure.
Did you wear it again, or would you have felt sort of like a heel, like going back to the old hits?
Oh, I don't think I did wear it again. I usually go all out and I have a dress planned weeks ahead of time, but sometimes it's just whatever's in the closet.
Well, don't leave us hanging. What do you got for this year?
Oh, you'll have to come to Sundress Festival and find out in person. Sunday, June 7th. I will say it's typically, there's like very long lines. The last time I tried to go, the line was wrapped well around the block to get in. I think that they're making it bigger this year, so they've taken over 2 blocks, and so it might be a little bit easier to get in. If you've tried to go and the line has been crazy, it might be a bit easier this time.
So do you think like going early is the hack, or what? How do you think we should get in?
I always say we're going to get in line at 11 o'clock in the morning and be the first in line, and then I have friends over, start pre-gaming. The plan kind of gets a little loosey-goosey, but if you can get there early, do get there early.
So for the responsible, try to get there at 11.
Do you feel like being in sundresses changes people's behavior in notable ways?
I think for a lot of the men, I think that they are really just, you can see there's a freeness that comes with wearing a dress. I have a very clear memory of my good friend Andrew realizing that they could put a can of beer down their dress and dance and have their hands free. There's just a lot of like seeing people come alive in new ways because they're experiencing a dress.
But is that true? You can put a thing of beer down your dress?
I don't know if I'd recommend it, but
You can. It depends. I mean, it depends on the cut of the dress. If you've got like an empire waist, sure.
See, I learn something every day.
District Bridges is making it happen on U Street this summer. Join the 4th annual Juneteenth at Harrison, June 18th from 3 to 9 p.m. at Harrison Park. Come celebrate freedom, culture, and community with live go-go music, DJs, local art, youth activities, and family-friendly programming honoring the legacy of Black Broadway right here in the heart of Washington, D.C. Can't make it? I got you, because District Bridges is connecting communities across D.C. all year round through programs, events, and local initiatives that bring people together. Join your neighborhood's cleanup crew or volunteer at an event like Cleveland Park Day on June 7th. To learn more about the Juneteenth celebration and all the great stuff that District Bridges has going on, go to districtbridges.org. That's districtbridges.org.
Kayla, what about you? What's on your June calendar?
Yes, I'm really excited. I went to this last year and I'm excited to go again this year. It's the DC Docs Festival. It's an international documentary film festival. It's one of the largest in the US, and it goes from June 11th to June 14th at venues sort of all across DC. You know, like they partner with Regal Cinemas and, you know, some other big theaters. And there's over like 100 films, like both short and feature length, on everything that you could ever want to know about. But a lot of them also are DC based and tell DC specific stories. There's one I'm very excited about called The Custodian, which is about a guy who's like collected Washington Commanders' memorabilia for 50 years and is like the number one consumer in the world of Commanders memorabilia and has this whole unofficial museum and is kind of trying to open this. His name is Samu Qureshi.
Samu Qureshi. So let me tell you a fun story
Samu Qureshi?
about myself.
Okay.
I was editor of Washington City Paper, and we were sued by Daniel Snyder when he was owner of the team then called the Redskins. And I get a call from this guy, Samu Qureshi. We had like a friend in common. I think he's a real estate agent by day. And he was like, I am the world's biggest collector of team memorabilia. Can I come to your office and get some copies of the print paper? Because it was at that point hard to find. And he did, and like said all kinds of nice things about like fight the good fight. And yeah, so there you are.
Wow. Yeah. Apparently he has this whole unofficial sort of museum. And the film is kind of about like him, partially reckoning with like the racist history and racist legacy of the team and the memorabilia, but also how to preserve that and sort of bring it forward into this new era. And I'm very excited. It's a short film. I think it's about 30 minutes. But anyways, that's just one of the many films that you could see if you go to the film festival. There's still plenty of tickets left, but I do recommend grabbing some soon. They're about $15 a piece, just like a normal movie. But definitely worth checking out. I really loved all the films I saw last year. So have either of you been to any film festivals in DC?
Oh, I love the DC Docs Festival. I believe this time around, Questlove, he makes like music documentaries now. He has a highly anticipated documentary about the funk band Earth, Wind, and Fire that I believe is premiering there. Don't quote me on that. But if you've seen any of his other documentaries, they are so rich and they're such a joy. And so I'll definitely be checking that one out at DC Docs.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a great experience because they're not things that I would see on my own or seek out on my own. And I honestly usually choose some films at random. I don't even like have a lot of background necessarily going in, and I've never been disappointed. And they also always have like a Q&A after the filming with the director or some of the actors or participants, whoever was in the film, and you can ask questions and sort of hear about the making of it, which obviously adds another really nice element. So what about you, Mike? What are you looking forward to this month?
So I think I've sort of worked this out on our pod a little bit. I have a very conflicted relationship with the Great American State Fair that is coming to the National Mall. Because on the one hand, like I love the idea of a Ferris wheel, and I really love the idea of treating the mall as like not just sort of like a hallowed space where you have to be like polite and walk within the lines, like treating it as like a festival space for people to be humans and have fun. I like that idea. On the other hand, the preponderance of Maha programming seems like not great to me. All right, so then they dropped their list of performers, and our first DC reaction to that was like, wow, why couldn't they get A-listers? And then about the day or two later, our DC reaction to that was, wow, why couldn't they hold on to these D-listers? And of course, it had something to do with the Maha programming and the Trump of it all.
Okay, so who was going to be performing who has now dropped out?
Everyone, except Vanilla Ice and Flo Rida. So Vanilla Ice is still in. And, when you're banking on Vanilla Ice, it's not a good sign for your lineup. But when they initially rolled it out, there was Young MC, the rapper behind the hit Bust a Move. There was the CNC Music Factory. There was Bret Michaels, singer of Poison. There was Martina McBride, an actual reputable country act, and the Commodores. And within about a day, Thursday, right after the announcement, basically everyone was gone. Young MC busted a move right out of there. Morris Day and the Time, who you might remember from the movie Purple Rain, they dropped. Milli Vanilli dropped, but then one of them undropped, but it's not clear who's there. But the point is, when you've got Milli Vanilli, who's best known for like a lip syncing scandal, being the voice of integrity, it's not a good sign.
No, I feel like it's also very on brand for this administration that a fake act is one of their main headliners at this point.
Right. So, I think like part of me is like, all right, this was a last minute seat of the pants thing. And like, what kind of A-list performers can you get at the last minute? Most reputable acts are probably booked already. So they went with probably the B list or maybe the C or D list. But there's also this thing of like some of these people said, well, we didn't even know we were performing. They just told us, which I think, Bridget, you have clocked as a longtime Trump move.
Yeah, that is a real longtime Trump favorite move where they just say, oh, this artist is confirmed. And the artist will say, we were in talks. Or the artist will perform and then they'll stiff the artist and not pay. Trump has a long history of not really doing right by artists. And I guess a lot of these artists are saying, well, we didn't even know that this was, we were told this was going to be a nonpartisan event. Whatever connection to Trump and the Trump White House there might be, that was intentionally obscured from us, which, again, I gotta say is sort of on brand. At least they know that some of these artists might not want to be associated with them if they were honest about what they were performing. So they have to sort of tweak it and obscure it.
So that seems to be the line from Martina McBride and Bret Michaels, who are the two with that must hurt the most in Trump world, because she, as a country artist, has fans in the MAGA universe. He, as a former winner of the Celebrity Apprentice, has been mentored himself by the president. Both of them said some version of that we thought it was going to be a nonpartisan thing, and now we don't want to be used for political purposes and blah, blah, blah. I got to say, as a Washingtonian, this makes me really sad because, there's a bunch of stuff you get to do here in D.C. that you wouldn't get to do in like Kansas City or Philadelphia or something. A lot of that has to do with stuff that had been kind of politically neutral, anodyne, national stuff. They come to the Smithsonian or the mall or whatever, and we, just by virtue of living here, we get to see this stuff. And now, like, even the mall has like a political valence about it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I have to say, I'm really not shocked to see Vanilla Ice as one of the only remaining hangers-on.
For now.
I saw a video where Vanilla Ice was saying, people ask me if I'm pro-Trump or if I'm MAGA. I'm pro-money. So that's his philosophy summarized.
Right.
Wow.
I have to say, I saw when my daughter, who plays rock music, when she was like, it was like right at the end of COVID, Joan Jett was playing at the Nats Park. So we went. But what we didn't really focus on in advance was that Joan Jett was the first of a series of acts that were all otherwise hair metal acts. And the second was Poison. And the vibe was like, they looked so happy to be there and to be performing. And they're like, it was a lot of like, hey man, I just want to thank you all for partying with us all these years, like that kind of stuff. And the vibe was very much like, wow, Timmy has a cool dad. So much of the aesthetic of like cool music is like acting like you're not even happy that the audience is there and like you could care less whether they like it or not. And this was the opposite of that. So it gave me very warm feelings about Bret Michaels. That said, I think we can all probably agree that like whether he is Timmy's cool daddy or not, I don't think he's like necessarily a marquee act of our time.
Now, is this a free event that's going to go on?
Yes.
Okay.
So there'll be like Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays on the mall during this Great American State Fair. Anyway, I am going to go ride the Ferris wheel. But if the rest of the vibe gets too much, and if it's after June 25th, I might head underground to the Undercroft.
The Undercroft.
Which is the new museum opening underneath the Lincoln Memorial. It sounds like a witchcraft term or something. But it does. But yeah, so you can, it looks pretty cool. You go down there, there's a lot of memorabilia, Lincolniana. Interesting.
So it's when is it opening? June 25th?
Yes, correct.
And it's going to be a museum about Lincoln.
It's got the original copies of the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment, which is still in place. I'll have you all know.
Good to know. You never know.
You got to get timed entry tickets. They're free. But yeah, it's honestly, like, I love history. I read about history a lot. I don't particularly care about like historic objects. Like this was the 13th Amendment that Lincoln actually signed versus, the 13th Amendment that you can read about anywhere else.
Yeah.
But the space itself looks really wild. It's like directly under it. It looks like a kind of modern crypt
tomb
from the pictures.
Yeah. It'll be nice to have something else on that side of the mall because I feel like it's besides the Lincoln Memorial itself, you trek all the way over there and then there's no food, there's no shade, there's like nothing much to do besides go to the reflecting pool and walk around there. And so it'll be nice to have like somewhere to go and actually have an activity on that side.
Definitely. Before we move on, can I hit you with a fun fact about Bret Michaels?
Yeah.
The funner, the better.
So despite being in a hair metal band and having like signature long hair, Bret Michaels is balding. That hair is extensions, and that bandana is strategically placed to mask baldness. I'm not kidding.
American
Look
tragedy.
it up.
Look it up.
And he was a prior Pam Anderson paramour, was he not?
Mm-hmm, he was. I know way too much about Bret Michaels from watching VH1's Rock of Love.
Well, what if you saw him coming off the mall at the Great American State Fair? What would you say to him?
I have to say, I have a little bit of a soft spot for him, too. When you watch him on TV, you think he's going to be this big jerk, but he clearly is cultivating a persona of kind of, shucks, thanks for, as you said, like, thanks for being here. So I have a fondness for him. If I saw him on the mall, I would be excited.
Here's something from our sponsors at the DC Department of Behavioral Health. Let me give you a number that matters, 33%. That's how much fatal opioid overdoses dropped in DC from 2023 to 2024. And the DC Department of Behavioral Health is connecting people to prevention, treatment, and recovery every single day. But the work isn't done. Whether you're looking for help, looking for answers, or looking out for someone you love, don't wait. Know your worth, know your alternatives, know your value, know yourself. Resources are available right now at knowyourpathdc.com. Hey there, it's Mike. One of our sponsors today is DC's Board of Elections, who want DC voters to know the primary and special elections are coming up on June 16th. And for the first time, we're using ranked choice voting, or RCV. You can now rank up to 5 candidates on your ballot. If your first choice candidate doesn't make it, your vote moves to your second choice and continues to your next choice until there's a winner. Just remember, do not give multiple candidates the same ranking, do not rank a candidate more than once, and do not skip rankings. You can vote by drop box, during early voting, by mail, or on Election Day. Have questions about the elections or RCV? Contact the DC Board of Elections at 202-727-2525 or visit dcboe.org. DC, get ready to rank your vote. Hey, before we go on, I want to invite everyone to please become a member of CityCast. It's really easy to sign up. All you got to do is go to membership.citycast.fm. It is $10 a month. Members get ad-free listening and extra events newsletter each and every week. You get exclusive members-only events where you get to hang out with the likes of Bridget and me and Kayla, and possibly Bret Michaels, though I won't guarantee that.
Never say never.
Also, we are building, as I've said, we're building out a newsroom, which, one, is not cheap to do, as a lot of people have seen with the number of local media going out of business or being in deep trouble. But two, what this means is in the long run, we're going to be creating a lot of news, scoops, content, newsletters, and you are going to need to be a subscriber to read all of them. So sign up now while it's still cool.
You can do that at membership.citycast.fm. Truly, there has never been a more important time to stay informed.
And one of those newsletters is Kayla's. And Kayla's now going to talk to us, I hope. Tell me about your eating plans for June.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you. Actually, mine is also museum related. So the National Geographic Museum, the very long awaited National Geographic Museum, is finally opening on June 26th. And part of that is also going to be an explorer's eatery, which is essentially a food hall in the museum. But I am kind of a sucker for museum food, especially if it doesn't even have to be that good. It's something about the vibe of eating in a museum that I really love. And this one looks particularly promising. It's going to have like rotating food stalls with Italian, Moroccan, Peruvian, Vietnamese food. There's going to be a full bar. There's going to be a bakery and a cafe. So you can like hang out. There's like, it's huge. It seats like over 300 people, and they're going to have events and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to check it out. I as you may know from me talking about this before on the podcast, I'm not a huge food hall fan. In fact, I'm a bit of a food hall hater. I think pretty much all of them in DC are incredibly overrated and overpriced.
Totally agree.
But I'm still really holding out hope. And I feel like if it's going to be done right, like this is the kind of setting that I would love to see it happen in. And I will always go, even if I, have been let down before. I will always try another food hall. I will always fall for the hype. But anyway, that's something that hasn't opened yet that I'm very excited to try this month. And I will be reporting back about my thoughts and opinions.
When does it open?
It opens with the museum on June 26th.
So I think that like the sort of bigger trend here, maybe, I hope, is like in America in general, food got a lot better. One place that didn't catch up with that in DC at least was like institutional food at like museums and stuff. There was one big concessionaire. So you go into most of the Smithsonian museums and the cafeteria is pretty dreary. Similarly, the kiosks on the mall were pretty dreary. That's now changing, right? They have changed concessionaires. They've brought in like a much more sort of diverse, weird, pop-up-y culture to those kiosks. Maybe that will eventually also span the museums too. Because, I mean, leaving aside whether you want to go eat in a museum or not, it is an opportunity for in an age of tight budgets for institutions to separate people from their money. And it is weird that you'd go to like the National Gallery, say, right? Great museum, world-class museum. And then you go down the basement. There's great gelato down there. But the actual cafeteria is something that you could find also in like, the lunchroom of like the Department of Energy or something. And it was sort of a mismatch. And hoping that this sort of like the cafeteria at the American Indian Museum, which is known for having very good food, that maybe this kicks off a turn in a more cosmopolitan direction.
The National Museum of African American History and Culture, their food slaps. It's not
Yeah,
cheap,
the Sweet Home Cafe is delicious.
I would go there just for the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think, especially with this new opening, the food is becoming a more and more central part of the experience, I think. And like you said, Mike, like they're really catching on to the fact that that's what people are looking for when they go to have a full day experience at a museum. And like this food hall has been promoted, I would say, almost as much as the museum itself has been. And I haven't really seen that before in any other museum opening. So
is that a museum you got to pay to go into?
it is, yes. I don't know how much it will be, though. It is a paid museum.
It's, DC spoils you so much that when someone's
I know.
like, pay to
It's
go to a museum, are you
dreadful.
crazy?
I know. It's like I'll probably go once and then, it's probably...
Bridget, what are you eating this month or drinking? Better yet, when you're not at the sundress drinking.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a secret shame of mine that I admitted in a conversation with Tim Ebner, that despite being mid-Atlantic girly, I don't really do crabs. When I was a kid, my parents would have these big crab fests and crab feasts, and I didn't know how to crack them. And rather than showing me how to do it, my mom would just crack them for me and hand me little piles of meat. And I don't know if she realized she was setting like a decades-long precedent of me just expecting to be handed piles of meat. But now I'm an adult, and it is time for me to learn how to crack my own crabs so that I can enjoy this mid-Atlantic tradition. So this is the summer that I am going to do crabs. I've looked up some places that I think are pretty good. Tim Ebner kind of helped me with this list during our conversation. I want to check out Cantler's Riverside Inn in Annapolis or the Crab Claw in St. Michael's. It's time. I'm an adult. I cannot be handed little piles of crab meat forever and call myself a mid-Atlantic person. It's time.
I disagree. I don't think it's time. I think you should expect to be handed. You go to these places, you pay a lot for your meal, and then they expect you to do this labor that's quite difficult.
Yes, I've always felt that the labor to meat ratio is a little off.
Totally off. And again, they're not giving it away. So I feel like if you go out to eat, they should treat you like $1 million. And, Bridget, if I was treating you like $1 million, baby, I would be cracking that crab for you.
Yeah, I would like to be handed little piles of meat, please.
Wow,
Do you two know how to crack it?
Of course, of course.
I mean, not well. The other thing is
that's the joy of it. I don't even like crab. I just like cracking the crab. You know what I mean?
I feel like this is a symbiotic relationship. You guys should head out there together.
That's true. I'll just crack it, and I don't even want to eat it. I'll just
make
hand
Kayla
it over
a
to
peanut
you.
butter sandwich. She can
Yeah. You can hand me back some nibbles if you're feeling generous.
The other thing I don't like about it is that I feel like someone else at the next table or something is doing it better than me.
Oh, absolutely.
And as a result, I'm like wasting money. That like I'm leaving all this meat, uneaten.
No, some people are crazy. They're like sucking out the legs and the head, and I'm just like, there's nothing even in there to eat.
You're just sucking shell at this
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, there's always one guy who is
salt.
the cracking pro. He's got a system. He's got it down. And when you're sitting next to that guy and you barely know what you're doing, there's something kind of shameful about it.
No, I think you need to learn in the privacy of your own home first, perhaps, and then take this to a public arena.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
Who taught you, Kayla?
I've just always known Bridget since I was a wee lass. I don't remember.
So I'm going to do something opposite food-wise. I'm not a big habitué of like food festivals, like corporate sponsored food festivals, but I make an exception for the giant food, sponsored National Capital Barbecue Battle. It's June 27th, 28th on Pennsylvania between like 3rd and 7th. This is the opposite of crabs because you basically don't do any work. You don't even have to chew really because it's been slow cooking for so long or smoking for so long. And I am a sucker for barbecue. It is not, for the most part, indigenous to the mid-Atlantic. I have no strong feelings between Eastern and Western style, which, Bridget, I know as a someone who's currently talking to us from North Carolina, you probably have very strong feelings about that. I like it all.
Not just North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina, the birthplace of barbecue. Don't let anybody in South Carolina tell you differently.
Explain this. So if you were coming to the National Capital Barbecue Battle with me, if you weren't out cracking crabs at that moment, what would I need to know to understand my barbecues?
Oh, the best barbecue is an Eastern North Carolina style vinegar base. Mm-hmm. There's also a mustard, like a Dijon mustard style barbecue, which is good, but that is not traditional barbecue. And so if I'm getting barbecue, what I'm expecting is that vinegar base, and that's to me what makes it barbecue. And I'm not saying that the other styles are bad. It's just not traditional barbecue.
So, but before the vinegar base or the other mustard, second class base, is the meat, it's all smoked the same?
Yeah. Well, more or less. Like some places put their own little spin on it. But in my opinion, like generally they're all sort of smoked similarly, with a little variation here and there.
And then what about like the thing you buy at the supermarket that's called barbecue sauce that is like tomato-y, sometimes with like spices, hickory? Is that Eastern, Western, neither? What do I need to know about that?
Oh,
like Sweet Baby Ray.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that is where different barbecue spots can really differentiate themselves because everybody puts their own little spin on the sauce. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, as long as the base meat is vinegar based, mm-hmm. the sauce that you put on it, pick your poison, whatever sauce you want will work.
Okay, now I know.
That's a very insightful barbecue question, though.
Well, I aim to please. So.
Mike, is this a paid event?
Yeah, it costs you a little over $20 to go in. Then you can eat a bunch of barbecue and enjoy yourself.
All you can eat, eh? That's dangerous.
You know it. And also, I'm burying the lead here. This year's performers include Rare Essence, Junkyard, and EU.
Oh, nice.
Which is Experience Unlimited, the legendary go-go band, not Emma Uber, our new CityCast colleague. And the Chuck Brown Band, obviously minus Chuck. But
right.
But that adds to the fun.
I know there's a lot going on in DC this month, but is anybody planning on doing anything for Pride?
Yeah, I always go. I am going to be honest. I am more about the pre-game, post-game house parties than the official events, but I always do go to the parade, and I'll go also to the concert as well this year. But I think it's going to be a good turnout. Obviously not as big as last year because that was World Pride, and this is just a normal DC Pride. But I always look forward to it. It's like the most fun weekend of the year, in my opinion. But maybe that's just an excuse. What about you, Bridget? Are you going?
I usually go. I have a love. I mean, I love the parade. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Pride. I too enjoy going to the house of somebody whose like house is on the Pride route and kind of enjoying it that
That's
way.
actually how I cultivate my friendships, is who has a house on 14th Street.
Smart, very smart.
Well, what about you, Bridget? What's a June perennial that you can enlighten us about?
Okay, so it's pool season, right? And so I recently learned this. A lot of DC's pools are on an app called Resort Pass. I learned this from the All Host taping. One of the hosts mentioned this. And so if there are hotels that are super fancy in DC that I could never afford to stay in, and I would love to be in their pool, for around $50 to $100, you can get a day pass to some of DC's pricier, fancier, more luxe pools. For instance, you could pool your money, little pun there, and get a cabana at a party pool like Yotel for about $100. So if you and your friends split it, you could have a cabana for a couple hours and, hang out poolside.
Wait, so you and your like 4 best friends pay $100 total. So each $20 each, and then you get the run of the place?
I think that's how it works if you are renting out a cabana. But if it's just you on your own, just getting a pass just to use the pool, those are individual. So on the app, some of them, vary.
Right.
Some of them offer things like cabanas or a day bed. Some of them don't. So you have to sort of pick and choose there. But yeah, pools that I could probably never afford to swim in because I would never do a staycation at this fancy hotel, a lot of them are on Resort Pass.
I feel like that is also a great option if you're not looking to, if you're looking for a more private, classy experience, maybe a few less kids. I mean, I don't really know, but that just sounds very intriguing. I also think a lot of them are on the rooftops,
Yes,
at hotels, which adds a whole nother element.
Definitely. It's a throwback to the Capitol Skyline Hotel. I don't know if any of you have been to they used to have these epic pool parties, and boy, if that place could talk. But, and I will add, if you are balling on a budget and you're like, well, I don't even want to do Resort Pass just for a pool, DC has so many great public pools. My absolute favorite one is Banneker on Georgia Avenue. It is always a party, super fun. All you need to do to get into those pools is to show your driver's license. If you're somebody for whom, for some reason, you don't have a DC driver's license, you're here for school, something like that, you can usually show a piece of mail or a bill with your DC address on it. But another little micro tip I have is that I have seen this go down so many times where somebody doesn't have the proper paperwork, or they're trying to get a friend from out of town into the pool, and they're talking to the nice old aunties who run Banneker Pool, and they think that the way to talk to these ladies is to be stern. And I always say, it's sweetness and light with the ladies who run that pool. If you give them a lot of yes ma'am, no ma'am, be very differential, half the time they'll just wave you right in. But if you go there and you're not on your P's and Q's, you might. I've seen them throw out people who had the proper paperwork just because they were kind of jerks at the door.
Bouncers at the pool.
Wait, so what's the scene like there? Is it, you said it's always a party, but who's partying? Is it youngs, olds, middles? Are you allowed to have music playing? Are you allowed to order food?
So they have music playing there, but then people also bring their own music, which your mileage may vary on whether you think that's a cool thing to do or not. You can bring things into the pool and no one is really looking too hard, if that makes sense. If you want to bring your own food, for instance, no one is really checking that hard for that. If you want to stress test that policy and see how far you can take it, it's something that I think people have done before and it's been fine.
Not me.
I don't do it, but I'm saying I've seen other people. And
I've heard, my friend told me.
There's a diving board, so there's always people kind of showing off their diving, and it's a great people watching spot, and it's just so fun.
Wait, where is it on Georgia?
It's on 2500 Georgia Ave, right across from the McDonald's near Howard. In my opinion, best, most fun public pool in DC.
Well, I hope you'll come back next month and give us a report about what it was like.
I certainly will.
Awesome to see you, Bridget.
Nice to see you as always, Mike.
Kayla, have an awesome month.
Thanks, Mike. You too.
And report all about it.
Yeah.
And listener, don't go anywhere. In just a second, we've got a segment sponsored by District Bridges. Annie Reese is chatting with Kelsey Adams about District Bridges' 4th annual Juneteenth celebration. It's happening June 18th.
Senior Executive Producer Annie Reese here with Kelsey Adams, U Street Main Street Manager at District Bridges. Kelsey, welcome to CityCast DC.
Hey, CityCast, how we doing? Happy to be here.
Thrilled to have you. So we're here to talk today about U Street's history as Black Broadway, which is so deeply woven into DC's identity. Why is this the right neighborhood to be centering for a Juneteenth celebration?
U Street is one of the most important cultural corridors in the country, not just DC and not just for the Black community, because when you think about the history that lies in the corridor, you think about Freedmen's Bank being the epitome of first Black Wall Street and financial support for the Black community. And then again, the rich cultural history of Black Broadway with spaces like the White Law, where Duke Ellington would stay when he would do his performances at the Lincoln Theater, to the current situation with Ben's Chili Bowls celebrating its 68th anniversary. So U Street is just, super embedded in just Black joy for the country. And in this moment, that is very important. And so from the museums to the textbooks, people talk about Black Broadway, but it is important that we in real time give it its flowers while we're here. And so making sure that we're activating in the corridor is also paramount.
Absolutely. Walk me through what the day actually looks like at Harrison Park, and how does an event like this support the businesses, artists, organizations that are already on U Street?
The day really starts with community wellness and activity. We're going to have some basketball programming happening on the Harrison courts. And the U Street Neighborhood Association actually did the work to renovate that court. So it's a beautiful mural on there. So paying homage to the work that has been done through the Neighborhood Association. There'll be a kids corner full with moon bounces, crafts, games. Then you'll have some businesses out there tabling. We got a couple of businesses like Pizza Bowlies. They're going to give out some free pizza. The yoga is going to be led by one of the business owners, Courtney, with Flow with Coco. We'll have some demonstrations led by the Midas Stretch on U Street, which is owned by a guy named DeMarcus. So businesses actually supporting the event. And then, of course, again, paying homage to Black Broadway, we'll have live go-go band. We know that go-go is the official music of DC, so always rooted in that there's no movement without music. And with Long Live Go-Go, bringing new impressions, T.O.B., of course, just bringing back that energy that they've always brought at 14th and U, coupled with DJs and some performances. And then you're going to have even some tabling going on from just nonprofits. So you'll have Free DC out there talking about everything that's going on in the city and how folks can get mobilized in that way. And then again, some of the small businesses actually there. And we have some prizes we're going to give away. So we've actually had some of the businesses donate some prizes. So we'll be asking the community questions and then they'll have an opportunity to win things so that they can come back into the corridor. And all that, pays homage to that Black Broadway and the cultural institution that U Street is, again, for this country.
Yeah, I love that. And, that kind of gets at the next question. I feel like you've already talked about it a bit, but as to why it is so important to create free, family-friendly cultural programming right now in DC, having a space for the whole family to come to.
That's literally what it's rooted in. And I'm glad you asked, because right now in DC, people are craving a connection and they want spaces filled with joy that are actually accessible. Everything's expensive. People don't have disposable income. Development is changing. In this moment, we're waiting on the Reef Center redevelopment to come through. So free cultural programming helps restore the sense of belonging in this moment. DC streets are occupied with law enforcement. The juvenile curfews are in place and the kids feel like they don't even have anything to do. So making sure that we're investing in what's happening through the government, but also what's happening in the streets so that we're creating the spaces that we know that the community needs.
Kelsey, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I love to come and talk about U Street. I'm actually a resident of U Street. So when they say work, sleep, and play, I do all the things. So I truly care about my neighborhood.
I love that. You're the expert.
Yes, I try to be the true historian of U Street.
The 4th annual Juneteenth celebration is at Harrison Park on June 18th from 3 to 9 p.m. Free, family-friendly. So for more info, head to districtbridges.org. We'll have that link for you in our show notes as well. Thanks for listening.
And that is all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Bye.